UFC San Antonio just recently wrapped up. Cory Sandhagen won the main event and halted Chidi Vera's momentum. It was a pretty fun card. I'm going to talk about each of the matchups. Make sure you guys smash that like button, and if you're new to the channel, subscribe. And let's talk about the first fight of the night. It was Victor Altamirano beating Vinicius Salvador in a competitive fight, but one that Altamirano was able to get the W in. Salvador does have pretty powerful striking, but it's really wild and reckless. On the opposite side, Altamirano, a durable, like herky-jerky boxing style, kickboxing really, because Altamirano's kicks are nasty. He also has wrestling in the back pocket. Was able to land takedowns and secure a deserving win over Salvador, who really needs to tighten things up in the striking department. He's just throwing shots from way too wide of angles. It's just like slapping wide shots, left hands that you can see from a mile away. And Altamirano was able to move his head and get out of the way of a lot of big shots from Salvador. Deserving win for Altamirano. Fun guy to watch. Nasty kicking game. Not great boxing. Kind of a weird boxing style, but good chin on him. Relentless, and I like Victor Altamirano. Clean W here over Vinicius Salvador. He gets it done and holds that striking momentum of Salvador, who was, coming in off a big knockout of Contender. But Altamirano, he's been in the UFC a bit. He's tough. Next fight on the card, it was CJ Vergara and Daniel da Silva Lacerda. Listen, if you were watching this fight, you were probably sweating your ass off in the first round. You're like, yo, da Silva has him hurt. CJ Vergara is running away. But this is literally majority of da Silva's like UFC fights is he looks really good in the first round and then he looks like shit after, or he looks really good in the first 3 minutes really and then he starts looking bad after. First round, da Silva was having huge moments. Vergara's running away from him. It looks like this fight is on his way to ending. Vergara survives and then he ends up getting a TKO over Daniel da Silva with the ground and pound. He fucked him up. I mean, if you see like Daniel da Silva, explosive prospect, really powerful striking, but not a great gas tank, does wilt mentally when the fights start going against him, whereas Vergara nearly losing, and he's like, fuck no, I'm not taking this L, I'm going to keep coming. And he took some big shots, and he survived, and he gets a huge win. Great fight. It was a fun back and forth fight of the night, actually, between these two. Great comeback. CJ Vergara with a good win. TKO, ground and pound. You can't doubt Vergara, especially against these back-end guys. Da Silva, I could see him getting released from the promotion. I mean, maybe a fight versus Vinicius Salvador. I'd kind of be interested in that. I would lean Salvador because of Da Silva just being too reckless. Like, he'll look good in the first 4 minutes. If he doesn't stop you, he's losing the fight. He looks for stoppages more than he does just looking for a win. He needs to slow his game down, pick his shots better, become a more patient fighter, and Da Silva could be so much superior to where he's at. But Vergara, clean W, comeback knockout, fight of the night, good fight. Next fight on the card, Trevin, Giles, Preston, Parsons. Damn, it was close. First round, Giles was hurt really bad. And throughout the fight, like you knew, Preston Parsons had some dynamite in his hands. He doesn't have the best looking boxing skills, but when he touches your chin, he's got some power. He's fucking strong. His back is jacked. Trevin Giles was quicker. He had a little bit of an explosive edge and definitely a speed edge with the hands. He gets a win. Both guys competitive in the wrestling department. Trevin Giles does it. He pulls it out. Hard-fought fight. Split decision. Not an easy matchup. Parsons is definitely UFC caliber. I don't know how high up the ranks, though, Giles is going to be able to go because, I mean, Parsons is, kind of fresh on the UFC scene. This was just his third fight in the octagon. He's now 1-2. Giles been in the game for a while. He's doing it full-time now. At one point, he beat Ryan Spann outside of the UFC. But I don't know about contenderships for a guy like Trevin Giles. I see fun matchups, back end of welterweight, because this was a real back end fight. I think they're going to give him another fight more towards the back. I don't think you jump him too far up the ranks after this one, but they might be using him as an opponent for some of the better guys on the come up. But hey, Trevin Giles, gutsy effort, hard fought win over Preston Parsons that I do believe was deserved, even though some decisions on this card we're going to get into maybe were not so deserved. Let's jump to the beatdown of a fucking lifetime. Lucas Alexander picked Steven Peterson apart for 3 rounds, dropped him, hurt him in that last round, and just had him looking like he didn't belong in the cage with him. Yeah, Steven Peterson couldn't close the gap. He couldn't land takedowns. Alexander destroyed him from distance. And Lucas Alexander, shades of Edson Barboza. He's got a lot of potential in this game. At 27, the kicking skills, he showed patience in this fight. He wasn't very hittable. He was able to keep Peterson away from him and pick him apart. And I mean, this is a Peterson who's been in there with good competition throughout his UFC run and very durable. Alexander hurt him. Yeah, they still went distance, but Alexander did some fucking work on him. Lucas Alexander is a real good prospect, and the commentary was talking about it, and sometimes the commentary says crazy shit. But Lucas Alexander having something special, I do think he's a featherweight that could reach the top 15 in coming years. What I worry about, his wrestling defense against guys that actually have good shots. Steven Peterson doesn't have that good of a shot. He's like a gritty fighter who can force takedowns, but it's not really a consistent move for him. He likes to strike. Lucas Alexander gets a big W here, picking Steven Peterson apart, and I think his stock went through the roof. After the fight, Steven Peterson retires and said, damn, I think Steven Peterson should go to bare knuckle. He's still got hands. It's just when you add the kicks in, you add the speed of these younger guys, he can't match. But just with straight hands, I think he should consider BKFC, and I do think they'd be happy to sign him because he's a legit UFC vet now who's been in there with really good comp and can definitely throw some fucking fists. So Steven Peterson, unfortunate loss, retirement after for Lucas Alexander, breakout performance. And this turned out to be our featured prelim of the night because unfortunately, Manel Kape versus Alex Perez got canceled during the broadcast. So unfortunate. Perez can literally not find his way into fights. He's dealing with some issues, medical issues, they said. Don't have the exact specifics. Maybe, by the time this is out or by the time you're watching, you find it online. Very unfortunate for him, man. Really unfortunate. Next fight on the card brings us to the main card. Make sure you guys smash that like button. It was Daniel Pineda and Tucker Lutz. Daniel Pineda's a savage. I picked Daniel Pineda. After the weigh-ins, I said I got to flip the side, which, you know what? If you watch the breakdown show, I said I'm waiting till the weigh-ins truly to see how Daniel Pineda looks. If he's in shape, I'm going to pick him. And damn sure did. And holy fuck, dog of the year, guillotine choke, put it on Tucker Lutz, hurt him with big shots, dropped him in the first round, did great work on the ground in the second, and then submits him. Daniel Pineda is still a monster. Nasty low kicks, good chin. Clean win over Tucker Lutz, and he was a massive dog. Plus 195 is not accurate. It was like plus 225 or more. Might have been plus 275 at some spots. He was a big fucking underdog, and he fought like a savage. That was a tremendous dog, so I'm super happy about that pick. As far as the fight goes, Daniel Pineda's still in this thing. We can't count Daniel Pineda out just yet. He's going to be giving problems to these unranked featherweights. I'm excited for more. Keep fighting, Daniel Pineda. Great style, super entertaining, junkyard dog, and a guy that I love watching. So good win for Daniel. Really happy for him to get it done here against Tucker Lutz. Pineda had balls, man. Jumping in against a young guy, 12-2. Kind of had some momentum. Granted, lost to Pat Sabatini, but people thought he was solid. Pineda found his shots, man. That Lutz chin is up a little bit, and Pineda was able to find Holm to some good shots, man. Good punches over the top. Daniel Pineda, huge win, huge dog. He's a fucking menace. Next fight on the card, Albert Duraev defeats Chidi and Njokuani. Okay, so the UFC stats in this fight were actually a bit mind-boggling. I don't think they were any bit accurate. Let me see if I can pull them up on screen as we go through this right now. Let's see, UFC stats, okay? Let's see. Vera Sandhagen. Where are the stats? Hopefully I'm not in the way of them. I'll make sure to move myself so you can see. All right, so strikes. Albert Duraev, Chidi and Njokuani. Officially, Duraev 68 to 159. Bro, on the live broadcast, they looked way out of hand. Now they look a lot closer, 40 to 45 significant strikes. But they were fucking crazy. I don't remember the exact number. I don't have it off the top of my head. But during the fight, they said the stats, I think they said the stats were way wider than this. It didn't look like Duraev even landed more than, 20-something shots more. I guess Chidi was a little bit low output. But yeah, during the live stream, the broadcast rather, when I was doing the fight companion, we were all freaking out that the stats were wrong. It does look like they're different now. So, unfortunately, I guess I can't sell the point as well. But as far as this fight, first round was all Duraev. Second round was close, but I thought it was Chidi. Third round was definitely Chidi. I had Chidi winning the fight. He ends up losing a split decision. I was obviously disappointed because I said Chidi and Njokuani as a good bet, which turned out to be a dumb bet. I said it was a fucking play, and it was a losing play for me, which I'm pretty disappointed about, but that's the game. You cash on a big dog, and then you lose a fucking money line attack on Chidi. Dude, in strikers versus wrestlers, got to be careful, man, because Duraev was able to take him down, and then in the striking, it was still fairly competitive. I did think Njokuani edged it, but I'm not going to freak out and say robbery. On the live stream, I was having a meltdown, losing my shit. But now, thinking about the fight more, it's understandable how you could call that second round close and, toss it to either side. It ends up being a split. I do like the boxing from Chidi late, but damn, that first round really fucked him. It fucked him bad. He didn't get going. Even in the second round, it took him a while. Third round, he finally got into his flow, and he was looking good. Chidi Njokuani entered the zone in the third round and did well. He definitely beat Duraev in the third. I thought he won the second and definitely lost the first. The judges, they thought Albert Duraev deserved the win. Like I said, great value Chimaev. I don't think they can take that name away from Duraev. From now on, for me, I'm calling him great value Hamzat. Because the truth of the matter is he doesn't have that beastly wrestling and he has okay stand-up. He's not a bad fighter. I'm not saying he's bad. He beat Chidi Njokuani regardless of whether I thought it should have went the other way or not. It was a very close fight and he brought it to Chidi. But he ain't the menace to society on the come-up. He ain't the future title challenger. He's, a tough Russian towards the back end of middleweight, middle end of middleweight. Interesting what they do for him. For Chidi, he had such a frame advantage as well. Oh, it was just disappointing. Low output, underwhelming performance in loss. I like Chidi a lot. I'm a Chidi Njokuani fan. Hopefully he can bounce back from this. I want them to just give him strikers. Can we just give Chidi fun fights? He's now at the age 34. He ain't going to be in title contention ever. I doubt he's ever ranked in the UFC, but you know what? He can have some banger fights with strikers. So bring him some strikers, some guys that have also taken L's that the UFC knows, okay, we're not going to be pushing this guy towards the title, but let's have him fight Chidi Njokuani, and let's watch a good scrap commence. That's what I want for Chidi moving forward. For Duraev, he'll continue to move up the ranks with a signature win now over Chidi Njokuani, a vet of the fight game. Next fight on the card, Maycee Barber versus Andrea Lee. So the pick was Maycee Barber, but I understand people thinking Lee won. At the end of the fight, I said, shit, I think Lee might have got it. Barber was on her back. It was one of those matchups that, yes, competitive. It's like Barber just got put in bad spots. And I mean, Maycee Barber is kind of the queen of getting decisions fucking handed to her. So if you look stat-wise, you see more strikes landed for Maycee Barber by a little bit. If you look round by round, though, who was the first? So first round, Maycee Barber Lee, you got more strikes for Lee, but Barber did land some significant shots. It's like the stats don't tell the whole story of the fight. That's one thing that I've really learned, following the game as long as I have. Now, I picked Andrea Lee, so I really shouldn't be any bit upset here. Or excuse me, I picked Maycee Barber, so I shouldn't be any bit upset at Andrea Lee getting the decision, but I thought that it could have went Lee's way. It's hard for her now. Even Barber looked surprised at the reading of the decision. She was like, oh shit, let's go. Barber's been gifted some W's, man. I mean, she looks good. She does a lot, but I thought Lee could have had it. Close fight. It went the way of Barber. Betting-wise, I can't really complain. Pick-wise, I can't really complain. But as far as actually, I understand people being upset and thinking that Andrea Lee won it. For Maycee Barber, she's now in a spot where she's only fighting the elite, and she's good, real good. But I don't think she wins against the best of the best at 125 pounds. Andrea Lee's like the step before the best of the best. She's real good. But I don't think Barber is quite that next turn. I think she's real good. She's solid. But she'll lose to the better fighters, and I think she could lose her next fight. She's been gifted a couple decisions in the UFC. The Miranda Maverick fight, now Andrea Lee. Maycee Barber, man, she's getting the fucking decision. She's the luck, bro. She's the future Barber. The luck is on her side. I don't know about her being youngest champ, though. Interesting fights on the horizon, though, moving forward. She's still a good prospect and puts out good efforts and fights. And, I mean, she still had good moments in the fight. But Andrea Lee got on top of her a bit, hit her with some shots. Both had moments. Close fight. Barber gets it done. But, yeah, I'm not going to shit on the people saying Lee won, because I thought she might have had the decision at the end of it. Very tricky fight to score. Overall, it'd be something if you really want to, try to mock your scorecard, you go back, rewatch. And I think if you do go back, rewatch, because thinking of it, the fight, and I'm remembering certain moments, I could see how they gave it Barber. And hey, it's good for me that they gave it to Maycee Barber. Tough fight against Andrea Lee. But Maycee Barber, at the top, I don't know if she's ready for that next level, though. Featured bout of the night. Holy shit. Nate Landwehr and Lingo threw down. And what did we learn about Austin Lingo? He can crack, man. He can box. But damn, when you start kicking him, you start fucking with him. He doesn't have
the most well-rounded striking game. He's boxing heavy. Nate Landwehr wins by sub. Nate Landwehr never wins by submission. He gets a sub in this fight here. He put Lingo in that rear naked and strangled him. But he fucked him up with punches first. He hurt him with good shots. He was putting that pressure on him. He destroyed his leg. The oblique kicks, which I like to call knee stomps because it's a cooler name. And also just the low kicks overall. Landwehr was mixing it up with strikes. Lingo just wanted to box. But dude, he's got a mean overhand right. But you can't just box in the cage. This is MMA. This is the full arsenal of fighting, not just boxing. Lingo's pretty good in the boxing. He needs to sharpen everything up. He's still young, 28. And losing to Nate Landwehr, not a bad loss. And for Landwehr, it's a needed win. It's a short notice opponent in Lingo. He was supposed to fight Alex Caceres. I say rebook that fight. I'm really interested in that matchup. That's going to be a fucking dog fight because both guys bring it. Great win for Nate Landwehr, though. He's getting his footing in the UFC. He's getting some good wins. He's a marquee fighter, performance of the night winner, too. He's cashing big. Great W for Nate Landwehr. Co-main event of the evening was Holly Holm versus Yana Santos. I almost said Yana Kunitskaya. That name is just forever ingrained in my mind from the years of watching her under that name. I said I didn't like it that she has the baby at the weigh-ins. I didn't like that. She just had a kid, too. Holly Holm bullied her. Holly Holm took her down, beat her up. Even the stats early in this fight, the first round, I'm like, yo, I don't know how they're saying Santos has so many punches. Like, I was shocked that they had her up in strikes like that. But hey, whatever. I think in Texas, be very cautious with your fucking fights going the distance bets. Like, if they're going to decision and you're betting like on a certain fighter and you think they're going long, be cautious in Texas, man. And the live stats seemed off during the event, whether they fixed them on UFC stats or not. Ultimately, during the fight, Holly beat up Santos. She was able to outstrike her. Santos tried to bully her early in the clinch. I'm like, you ain't doing that to Holly Holm. Holly beat her up, got on top, dominated the fight. Clean, unanimous decision win. And Holly's right at the top. Maybe another title shot. At 41, she doesn't look slowed down. And this was a real clean W. No question. No question. Clean W. And Holly showed that grappling skill, that top control. She's a strong girl. Holly Holm's a menace. She wins a good fight over Yana Santos. I enjoyed seeing Holly go out there and perform. Does she fight Nunes next? I mean, maybe. I know they're talking about Aldana for it, but Holly has a win over Aldana recently. I could see Holly Holm and Nunes, too, as an interesting matchup. I kind of want to see it because Nunes hasn't been looking as good lately, let's say. And Holly Holm, struggled obviously real bad in the first one. Let's see. Maybe, she can pull it off over Nunes and like the ex-champ from many years ago, like last generation's champ, really, because Holly Holm beat Ronda Rousey for the belt, then lost to Miesha Tate. Can you imagine Holly got the belt back in 2023 at 41? That'd be some legendary shit. But if there's ever a female that could do it, it would be her. So you know what? Give Holly the fucking title shot. Good fight. Great win. I was super happy for Holly Holm. She helped me win a big parlay, too. So, fuck yeah. Shout out, Holly. Main event of the evening. If you guys haven't, make sure you smash that like button. If you're new to the channel, subscribe. It was Cory Sandhagen and Marlon Vera. This is what I'll do. Clean, deserved, unanimous decision for Sandhagen. He was touching up Vera from distance. I was watching live, and I'm like, damn. I'm losing this underdog. I ain't winning with this guy. I thought there was good moments for Vera. He stunned Sandhagen a bit. He hit him with some heavy punches, but the volume was way higher towards Cory Sandhagen's side. His movement was fucking immaculate. He was landing takedowns on Chidi Vera, beating him up a bit from the top position. Cory Sandhagen's evolved, man, and he starts fast. Problem with Chidi is he doesn't start fast, and if he finds the knockout, great. I mean, he could have knocked out Sandhagen if he landed the perfect shot. Could have, should have, would have. It's a big what if. He didn't land that perfect shot. It was hard to find Holm to real dynamite shots on Cory Sandhagen. He's just hard to hit. His movement's incredible. Leg kicks, teep kicks, decent punches, mixing in takedowns. Cory Sandhagen is right here at the top of bantamweight. I'd actually love to see Sean O'Malley versus Cory Sandhagen. I think that's a tremendous kickboxing match between those two. X Factor, Sandhagen's wrestling. He calls out Merab. And Merab's the number one contender, but he won't fight for the belt. Sandhagen wins that fight. He's undeniable as a challenger. But Merab ain't an easy fight for him. That's what I want to see next, though. I think Sandhagen versus Merab ends up making a lot of sense. For Chidi, he's in an interesting predicament where maybe a Piotr Jan fight, but are we really going to do Piotr Jan that dirty and give him another top contender? Maybe somehow if O'Malley loses a matchup, it's a lot of what ifs. If Adrian Yanez beats Rob Font, I could see Yanez versus Vera as actually a pretty dope fight. I'd definitely watch that. Cheeto could climb back, but this is a tough setback, man, because it was that fight that gets you to the final pinnacle, which is contendership. And I don't think Cheeto would have fought Merab after. I think Cheeto would have maybe fought a Sean O'Malley. But instead, Cory Sandhagen does what needed to be done, wins a deserving unanimous decision, and broke my damn heart because I like Cheeto a lot. But respect, because Cory Sandhagen's really good. His striking's tremendous. He's evolved and added in the takedowns, and he can work from everywhere. So I can't complain. Cheeto, for fuck's sake, can we find a way to get you to step pedal to the metal in the first 2 rounds? Here's a theory. Cheeto does a lot of crazy long-distance cardio, like 13 miles and shit, 8 miles, crazy shit. Maybe doing that much distance running is very slow twitch fiber base that he has a hard time putting the foot on the gas, right? Because he's more of like a slower paced guy. I don't know. Is there a way to add in some speed to him? How can we get him to start faster? That's Cheeto's issue, man. He's just a slow starter. He doesn't have that Cowboy Cerrone slow level, but he is a definite slow starter. I mean, if you're betting who wins a first round in a Cheeto Vera fight, a lot of times he ain't winning that first round. Deserved W for Sandhagen. Just unfortunate because I had some savage parlays that had some big dog money with them with the Vera side that would have been tremendous. But hey, Cory gets a deserving win. I'm glad it wasn't a robbery. They called it a split decision. One judge had it 48-47 Vera. I think that's reaching a bit. I was reaching a bit on the live stream. No, he could have won this round. It's probably the Cory Sandhagen show. I am probably going to go back and rewatch it tomorrow or the next day. But right now, I can't cry about that decision. It was fair. Cory Sandhagen, the right man won. If he would have lost, it would have been like, yo, we kind of stole it from him a little bit. Because Cheeto, even in that last round, he landed some decent shots, but you could very easily give that final round to Sandhagen. I mean, one judge, 50-45 Sandhagen. Another judge, 49-46 Sandhagen. But one judge had it 48-47 Cheeto Vera, the complete opposite side, which is kind of insane, right? To see the differences in like how judges are looking at these fights. Like, damn. Shit can be crazy. Why? Like even earlier, like the Maycee Barber fight, I think one judge had Maycee 30-27, right? And it's like, how? I think it was Dan Mergliata too, and he's supposed to be, a high-level ref, and now he's judging fights way off. Being a judge ain't an easy job if Mergliata's fucking up. Holy shit. You can imagine these other guys who really, I've never even been a part of the cage fighting, like in the cage, they're way off. So judging is always weird in Texas. Thankfully, in this one, the main event, as much as I'm disappointed to see Cheeto lose, I'm glad for the integrity of combat sport, integrity of MMA, that the right guy won the fight. Let's talk about the picks. I want to review them. So my official record for the night was 7-3. I'm going to tell you this. I locked Chidi and Njokuani and we lost, and that was a terrible lock. I'm very disappointed about that. I want to talk about that thing first and foremost. One thing I don't like is I'm dropping the lock on Monday during Moneyline. I really don't like doing that. Normally, I would wait till Wednesday. We used to, do Moneyline on Thursday. I'd already dropped my lock Wednesday. I got more time to sit on it, think about it, do some extra research. So I don't know. Maybe I'm rushing out these locks. I got to decide if I'm going to keep dropping them on Monday. But they're coming on Wednesday. And then obviously after the weigh-ins on Friday. Actually, post weigh-ins, that's the best way to get the picks. Like, holy shit. Because I got some good reads after the weigh-ins. Altamirano, confidence rose. He got the win. CJ Vergara, confidence rose. He got the win. Trevin, Giles, Parsons, I knew it was close. God damn it was. Trevin, Giles wins. Alexander Peterson, that's just a wrong read overall. Alexander showed out better than I thought he would be by a long shot. Clean win over Peterson. That's a loss. That's how it goes. Pineda, Lutz, like I fucking said, I switched it. I said early in the week, I'm going to wait till weigh-ins really to give the final drop. I wanted to say Pineda all through the week. And then I saw weigh-ins and I said, hell yeah, we switched it to Pineda, and goddamn was that a big W. Huge underdog comes through. So I'm really happy about winning that one. Obviously, Chidi, L. It is what it is. That's the fight game. Andrea Lee, Maycee Barber. Controversial-ish. But hey, Maycee Barber wins. The pick is correct. We move forward with a nice W. Nate Landwehr getting the win by sub. Shit, that's badass. Nate Landwehr for the win. That's a huge W for him. He's a menace. He's a fucking menace. I love Nate Landwehr's style. He's a killer. So fun to watch and like unlimited fun matchups for him moving forward. It was a win. Holm, clean unanimous decision, perfect pick over Yana Santos. And then we lose with the main event. Obviously, I had Cheeto Vera. Cory Sandhagen gets the win. The other side pulled it off. That's the fight game. Dog money, Cheeto couldn't pull through. And the bookies got it right on that one. And Cory Sandhagen showed out overall, UFC San Antonio brought the heat. I hope you guys enjoyed the week's worth of content. I hope you guys enjoyed the live stream, and I really hope you guys enjoyed this recap show as well. So make sure you smash that like button. If you're new to the channel, subscribe. Let me know what your record on the picks went. 7-3, pretty solid. I wish it was better, but it is what it is. I'm not going to cry about it because you know what? Decision went my favor in one fight. Decision maybe went against me in the other. Things work out well, and that's the beautiful fight game. UFC's off next week. PFL's going to be going on, so I'll be covering PFL. I'll drop some picks for them, and then I'll do a fight companion for PFL as well. And then we're back with UFC 287 the following week, which is going to be just an absolutely tremendous heat week of content. Stay tuned. I got plenty of live streams dropping this week, even though it's an off week. Like I said, the PFL picks, maybe even a Bellator fight companion. We'll see. We'll see how I feel about Bellator. You guys know I'm iffy on Bellator. Sometimes I do it, sometimes I don't. I'll think about it. PFL, first priority with this UFC off week. Much love. I hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you all in the next one. Peace, everyone.